So straight shootout on Sunday in Calcutta between West Indies and India. Sanity restored, problem sorted. I've been saying this for the longest time that India still will make the semifinals, should make the semifinals, can make the semifinals, and we have finally seen that happen in terms of India got the combination right, and the moment that happened, the game was done. Eventually, India win by some 70 odd runs, 72 3 runs. Now that's a commanding victory. Shivam Dube's bowling needs to be rectified. He cannot bowl loose balls and he cannot bowl no balls. Having said that, we will decode both games. The first thing was done by South Africa. First things first, it was done by South Africa. They played the perfect match. That's when the pressure was released, and India managed to gain control back. Had South Africa not been able to do that, and had West Indies taken it away, this match, even if India won by 100 runs, would not be enough. South Africa, after conceding 175-76, that's 175-76, uh, you know, to be able to do that. Vaibhav joins me as well. Welcome, Vaibhav. Good to see you. Sanity restored, problem sorted. India's fate in their own hands. Straight shootout in Calcutta. Combination gets right. All that we needed to do or see is finally falling in place. Your first thoughts before we kind of go back to the South Africa game, and then we will come back to India again.
Yeah, I think it was a good day overall for India because all the Indian supporters were having a eye on that game, and even the spectators who were there at the Narendra Modi Stadium, maximum Indians were wearing the South Africa t-shirt. That's what we were talking about in the pre-match as well. That all the Indian supporters were rooting for South Africa, and that's what happened. A comprehensive win, 9-wicket win, and that's what India wanted. What that result has done is it has taken net run rate out of the picture. Now, whoever wins that game at the Eden Gardens will go to the semi-finals. So I think that win came on the expected lines because South Africa has played at the same venue 4 games, and all 4 games they won quite comprehensively, including the India game as well. The only game that went down to the wire was against was against Afghanistan. So it was expected on the expected lines. Both results came on the expected lines. Afternoon game South Africa and the evening in India. But I think more the India game was more important just because we know that there was pressure on Tilak Varma, there was pressure on Abhishek Sharma, but those two guys responded really well under pressure, and it was not easy. If you cannot take Zimbabwe for granted, that team has beaten Australia. That same team has beaten Sri Lanka as well. So they were high on confidence and they were confident to beat India. And they had the bowlers. If you look at the bowling lineup of Zimbabwe, they have a Brad Evans, they have a Richard Nagarwal, they have a Blessing Muzarbani. So they had some tall bowlers and they had some big square boundaries so that they can use the short ball ploy. But that didn't work today just because it was the Abhishek Sharma day today, his show today. And the best part was that the ploy of batting, making Tilak Varma bat at number 5, that worked for India because there were questions. Even I was not sure how Tilak will respond at number 5, but he did extremely well. So I'm happy for Abhishek and Tilak.
These are all important points made. A lot of people are asking about Indian bowling. I don't think Indian bowling was a problem at all. Arshdeep 4 overs 24, Hardik 3 overs 21, Bumrah 3 overs 21, Varun 435, Aksar 435. Dubey is not even going to bowl. That's Surya tried him in the last over because the game was done. Net run rate is out of the picture. Do you think Surya will give it to Shivam Dube in a must-win game? No. I mean, come on. I mean, you've got 100 runs. There is no net run rate that is relevant anymore. They tried Shivam Dube, but having said that, Shivam Dube also needs to get better. This is lack of discipline. You cannot bowl at medium pace. You cannot concede 2 no balls. No way. Last game another no ball. This game another no ball. You can't do that. So, but having said that, I don't think the moment you know at the back of your mind, subconscious mind, that the net run rate is not an issue anymore. You have scored 255. The opponent needs 35 runs and over. It's done. Automatically, some balls will be here, there. No one will care. So I don't think it was a clinical effort. India just decimated Zimbabwe exactly the way we wanted to do. But on a more important note, I thought Vaibhav made 2 very important points. One, the position of Tilak Verma. And by the way, Vaibhav, you will remember I had kind of mentioned this exact batting lineup in our work group in the morning. So one had said this, and this is the Asia Cup team. Frankly, this is what was happening. The number three is the only slot. Ishan Kishan has slotted in. You had a right, left, right. You were having Tilak there. He was trying to finish along with Hardik. And this is what was working. I mean, even before the left, right. Think about it, Vaibhav. Sikandar Raza could not bring the off spinner on in himself because Sanju Samson was there. So that ploy of getting that off spinner was out of the window. I thought that is where India scored a mental victory, and the game was done. Sanju Samson attacked the opening bowler, got that six off, got that four off. India 13 in the first over. That's when you have been 0 for 1, 1 for 1. That has been your score. All of a sudden, 13, second over 25, India was off. Vaibhav.
I think that's where the left-right combination worked, and Sitanshu Kotak, made this point in the pre-match press conference as well, that there are three left-handers, and we were talking in the build-up of this game that how to break that pattern. There are too many left-handers at the top of the order, and off-spinners are working. Whether it was an RN Dutt, whether it was Gerard Erasmus, so there were off-spinners troubling our top order. Now, what Sanju Samson's presence has done, that Sanju Samson dominates spin right from the offset. At the very start, he will dominate spin. Yes, he has some issues against the rising delivery, against the short ball. Even today, he got out to Muzarwani. But apart from that, if you'll just talk about tackling the off spinners part, then I think Sanju Samson makes that difference at the top of the order. And that's where we broke the pattern today. Now, opposition will not be tempting to go with an off spinner right at the start, right in the power play with the new ball, just because they know that now they have the Indian team has Sanju Samson at the top of the order, who dominates spin, finger spin, race spin, both. So now I think it's a great sign for Team India that Sanju Samson, he fired. It was a small innings, but that package tells you a lot that he's batting really well. He's looking in good form, and more time he spends in the middle, more game time he gets. I think he will only get better, like Abhishek Sharma. Abhishek Sharma took 4 or 5 innings to score a half century. I think Sanju, if he gets more games, which is likely in the coming games, so he will also fire. But now the best part is we have broke the pattern. Now if West Indies think about having a Roston chase at the start in the power play with the new ball, then they will have to counter a Sanju Samson as well.
Absolutely, and he will do boom, boom, 2 hits, and Rostan Chase is gone. The moment you employ the off spinner against the right-hander, Samson will go. Eden Gardens is no longer that big a ground anymore. Pretty small, that straight one. And by the way, a lot of people are asking about rain in Calcutta. Folks, I am in Calcutta. There's no rain. All this is nonsense. There's no rain. At least in the next 4 or 5 days, there's no rain predicted. Today also there was no rain. Day before yesterday, in the morning, there was some rain. After that, no rain. And all the depression, etc., all that has gone out of the window. There's zero chance of any rain. So that's not happening. There's no rain, and it will not happen. It will be a straight shootout between India and West Indies. India will thump the West Indies. That's what will happen. India will thump the West Indies and make the final. Today, West Indies was badly exposed, and this Romario Shepherd, Jason Holder type partnership will also not happen against India. Bumrah will come at Eden Garden, Shujan Das wicket, and bowl a couple of proper Yorkers and nail them. So don't worry. We were predicting exactly this. That one bad day doesn't make India. Somebody is saying this is overconfidence. This is understanding of the game. This is nothing more. Social media was in a tizzy. All this, come on here. Let's relax. I thought India played a clinical game. 255, game done. One important point. When you play a team like the West Indies, obviously you will not take any team loosely, including Zimbabwe. But when you play a team like the West Indies, there are two batters, frankly. Two batters who can take that game away from you. One, Shimron Hetmar. That is the key batter at the top of the order. And one between, say, a Brendan King or basically a Shea Hope. One of those two fellows can come and hurt you. Do you see any changes in that side? Do you see this is the side that will now play in Calcutta? West Indies against Kuldeep Yadav. Would you be tempted to bring in a Kuldeep Yadav just because he's a wicket taker at the Eden Gardens? Or you would now say, no, I finally found my mojo. This is the team to go ahead with, and we will play this.
I think we should stick with the same playing 11 for the next game as well. I think there needs to be consistency because now we are down to the business end of the tournament, and we should retain the playing 11. There should not be a lot of changes made. Otherwise, then again the sense of insecurity will creep in. And at this stage, India cannot afford any lapses. India cannot afford any hiccups. So I would suggest, I would back the same playing 11 against Zimbabwe, against West Indies at the Eden Gardens. Unfortunately, Kuldeep will miss out. If he comes in, we know that he can do the job. He's a wicket taker. He has taken the most wickets since Asia Cup in the middle overs. That is there, but there is no place for Kuldeep Yadav in this playing 11 right now. So I think India will stick to the same playing 11.
Our reporter on ground, Gargi Rao, joins us from Chennai. Gargi, over to you. Clinical effort, good effort from India. Once you score 250 plus, it's game done. And South Africa had done the job before. Over to you. Tell us.
Two very important stats here. One is that India has registered the highest total in this ongoing edition of the World Cup. And the second is that all 6 Indian batters who went out there to batted with a strike rate of over 150, which is the first time that has happened in World Cup history, T20 World Cup history. So, this was the first time, I believe, in this entire tournament that India's batting unit has clicked collectively. It was the kind of approach that was lacking from the very start of the tournament. They tried it against USA, but obviously on that tricky surface, they read it all wrong. But now that they're coming back to it, it's going to be interesting to see. I hope my internet is not bad. Can you confirm? Or I will
it's fine.
rejoin.
It's fine. Go on, go on. No, it's fine. Go on, go on.
Okay,
Go on.
okay.
It's fine.
All right. Great to know that. I've been struggling with the internet all day today. But yes, finally a collective, performance from the batting lineup. Sanju Samson at the top worked really, really well for India. Boria, us at the press conferences, we had been asking this question for a very long time, and we repeatedly asked, is the Indian top order too predictable? Because oppositions have figured it out, have figured the weakness out. They start with the right arm off spinner, and the openers lose their wickets. So this is a question that we had been asking, but we got brushed aside multiple times. Now that the management has finally come to this conclusion that it's best to have a left-right combination at the top, and Tilak Verma at number 5 or 6, it's the best thing to come out of this particular match.
Okay, let me take this question and explain why social media is a problem. Gargi showing us some visuals of Chennai. Gargi, your internet is slightly blurry at times, but that's understandable because outside the Chepauk, it will be a problem. So if you can walk a little bit here and there, but your answers are pretty much clear. The audio is fine. The visual is a little blurry, but that's very manageable. So don't worry too much about it. If you want to walk around, you do that as Vaibhav and I take a question, but I will throw to you at the very earliest. Okay, somebody asked, Jasprit Bumrah not bowled 1 over, poor captaincy, etc., etc. Who is this? I will mention the Man B. Chand, folk. The truth is, Jasprit Bumrah need not be tested at all. Jasprit Bumrah knows what he can do. Gargi Raut will join back. Jasprit Bumrah is not somebody who you need to check, test, try, nothing. Rather, Shivam Dube, if he needs to bowl at the Eden Gardens, is the one who needs to be given 1 extra over and see if he can do the job. So I thought it was perfectly fine on the part of Surya Kumar Yadav. You don't worry about the 15 runs conceded or the 20 runs conceded. That's cricket. You've got to understand, even if you win by 1 run, that's good enough because all you need to do against the West Indies is win by 1 run and you're in the semi-final. This is not some fancy glamour nonsense happening that you have to win by 100 runs. So what he did by trying to bowl Dube was the 100% correct thing and not the stupid thing like you are saying. Clearly, your understanding of cricket is pretty stupid and daft. That's your problem. Okay, Gargi, let me try and go back to you before I go to Vaibhav again. The best part about today was Tilak Verma. Vaibhav made this point in the first answer. You see Tilak Verma comes and gets a 12 ball 35 and from ball 1, that slash for 4, set that up. I thought the big plus for India was Tilak Verma. Over to you, Gargi. Gargi, can you hear me? You're on mute. Can you hear me?
Is this for me?
Yes, it's for you. Tilak
Oh,
Verma.
sorry, I couldn't hear it. Tilak Verma. Yes, give me 1 second. Okay. No, this is the kind of batting we needed from Tilak Verma at this point in the tournament. And we had been, again, once again, we had been asking about the runner ball innings that Tilak has been playing so far. It almost seemed like he was going into this shell. I know that the management has been very clear about the fact that they wanted him to play that anchor role, but I do not think that he meant to go that slow. I think that was just him struggling against spin, him struggling to rotate the strike, which is why he went as slow as he did. The other point is Zimbabwe's bowling wasn't as strong as a South Africa, wasn't as strong as what a Scotland was able to do, sort of get their weaknesses. And of course, it was nowhere near the pitch that we saw at Colombo. So when you think of these factors, Chennai wicket, today's wicket was actually very, very good. It supported batting a lot. We had said that it was a fresh wicket and you could expect a 200 score. That's precisely what happened. But Tilak Verma, this approach is what you need. If this is the way that Tilak Verma could have batted all along, he should have. And the management, I'm glad that they recognized it now that Tilak Verma at number 6 or 5 can be the aggressor. There is no need for two anchors, Surya Kumar Yadav and Tilak Verma, to go out there and did what they have in the past few matches.
Vaibhav, let me come to you. Gargi actually is tired, and that's why the Scotland Netherlands mistake. Don't worry too much about. Both countries are in Europe. Be happy, and both produce very good chocolates. Vaibhav, some decent questions. Fitbank says, let's applaud Zimbabwe for making it. They played decent. Massive respect for Sikandar Raza. Absolutely, for Zimbabwe, coming to the Super 8 is like making it to the semi-final. Vaibhav.
Definitely. See, you started with the win against Australia, and then people said that this is a one-off win, and then you went on to beat the one of the co-hosts in their own nation, Sri Lanka. Beating Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka is a tough job, and for a country like Zimbabwe, just given the test playing nation status. So it is a big tournament. It was a big campaign for them. Unfortunately, it ends tonight, but a great leadership by Sikandar Raza, exemplary leader. I've always talked about him. I have always rated him highly as a character. He's a great fielder, great all-round cricketer, and the way he leads the team with passion and with commitment, and all the players are really committed. And good to see somebody like Brian Bennett. I think he's the one of the standouts of this tournament. 50 against Australia, 50 against Sri Lanka, and now 90 odd against India. So that tells you 350 plus scores, and all against top oppositions, means all against former world champions. So that tells you that Brian Bennett, as I said in one of the shows that, well, you were there, I said that Brian Bennett reminds me of Hamilton Masakadza. At that time, Hamilton Masakadza he used to be the lone warrior for Zimbabwe. Now it is Brian Bennett, and he is just 22 years old. He has got centuries in all three formats. So that tells you he's a very promising talent. There is Ryan Bull, there's Richard Nagarwa, there's Blessing Muzarbani, Brad Evans. There are a lot of good players in Zimbabwe team, and as they go ahead, they will play big teams. They will get better, and this is what all the associate teams are also about. Whether it's Scotland, every team has a good player. Scotland, they have a Brendan McMillan. Netherlands, they have a Bas Daly Day, Paul Van Beekeren. Every team, Nepal, Dipendra Singh Aries. Similarly, Zimbabwe has more better players than these nations. That's why they have got that test playing nation status as well. They are a test playing nation, and more. I think now from this point, now the big challenge for them is how they will be consistent at the top level, how consistently they will do well against top teams. That will define how far they will go in the next big ICC event.
Let me take these two questions and then I'll go back straight to Gargi. S21, you've been asking these questions multiple times. Absolutely stupid. Dubey bowling, recklessness, Surya captaincy. Why is it reckless? Can you explain to me? I'm actually asking you a counter question. Why is it reckless? In what way? Surya has to try Dubey because there's no way. If rain comes to Kolkata, rain is not going to come from heaven. And if rain comes to Kolkata, then India is done. Rain is not happening. I am in Kolkata. There is no chance of rain. So, and somebody has written, if the match gets cancelled, how come? Why should the match get cancelled? Don't be foolish. There is no way rain will come, no way match will get cancelled. Surya had to try out everything because he doesn't need to try out Jasprit Bumrah. He had to try out Shivam Dubey in case he needs to get Shivam Dubey on in Calcutta. Can he or can he not? So it was absolutely fine on Surya's part. That's what cricket is about. To think it is like a chess game. It's not about tonight. It's also about Sunday. It's also about fifth. It's also about eighth. Are you preparing the team, peaking at the right time, getting the batting order right, getting the so let's understand this better, and that's what this guy did. Gargi, very important question. Sanju Samson, the two blows at the top of the order, that six and that four, set it up. 24 runs, but a very, very valuable innings from Sanju Samson. Gargi.
I was on mute, my bad. I had a lot of faith in Sanju Samson to come good in this particular match, because even though he had a lean patch ahead of the T20 World Cup, he got those 4 chances but wasn't able to grab the opportunity with both hands. But at the same time, if you look at how Sanju Samson has been playing in the nets, he was looking very, very good. He was tonking those shots out of the park every single time that he stepped out in the nets. The only off day that I did talk about and did report on was during the match day -2 practice session in Delhi. Apart from that, Sanju Samson has not looked bad in the nets. Plus, if you look back on his that one performance where Abhishek Sharma could not play, 22 of 8 deliveries, that actually gave you a hint that Sanju Samson was walking in with the right intent. He was walking in with the right approach. And tonight as well, he's proved why he's one of the best and why he deserves to be in the team. All I'm thinking about is now going forward, maybe Rinku Singh does not find himself in the playing 11.
No, I don't think Rinku Singh finds his place anymore, because I think it's done. I think Tilak Verma has cemented that position. Now the only change, if India wanted a Kuldeep Yadav for a pace bowler, but I think Hardik Pandya did a decent job, Arshdeep Singh beautifully, and Jasprit Bumrah. So I don't think Vaibhav is 100% right. I don't see Kuldeep Yadav coming in, and Akshar Patel in his very first over picking up that wicket, yet again proving that it was a wrong call to play Washington Sundar ahead of Akshar Patel. But Vaibhav, take this before I go back to Gargi. Sanju's God's favorite child, somehow destiny putting him back on track, fit monk. This is his first World Cup. For God's sake, that guy, if he does win one, it'll be really nice. For the longest time, Kerala will go all guns blazing. They'll go completely mad. 20 lakh people will come out on the streets of Trivandrum. Vaibhav on Sanju Samson.
Yes, at the same venue, he's going to play for a franchisee who have acquired his services. So, good start at Chepauk for Sanju Samson, and Indian team will be hoping that he keeps on doing that same job. It doesn't matter, even if you are not getting big runs, it's about creating that impact at the top of the order. That's what you want, and this game is all about strike rate. It's not about the average anymore. It's all about the strike rate, the impact. If you are creating that impact at the top of the order, in the batting position in which you are batting, I think that tells you that Sanju Samson is in good headspace. I think team management has done an exemplary job in making sure that he is in a good headspace. The environment is nice. Otherwise, what a lot of times it happens that that you were a part of the T20 World Cup winning squad, but you didn't make to the playing 11, and now again you are benched. Means you are not getting a chance in the playing 11 just because there are better players and you are out of form. But this team management, Captain Surya Kumar Yadav, what he has done is he has make sure that team Sanju Samson, despite not getting opportunities, he's in right space. He's doing all the right things, and whenever he's getting the opportunities, he's making sure that he make it counts, and that's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very valuable point, that Surya Kumar Yadav and the management keeping Sanju in a good space. Gargi, are you worried about Varun? Varun, not really, some short balls, maybe not the Varun that we know. It was a good deck. There was due. It was a very good batting wicket. I will concede all of that. But are you a tad worried about Varun Chakravarti, or no? He's fine, because he's still a wicket taker in Kolkata, where the ball will grip a little bit. It'll be a slightly more difficult wicket than Chennai. Your thoughts on Varun? And by the way, your internet is absolutely fine now.
I wouldn't say that I'm incredibly concerned, but it's Varun Chakravarti has been very inconsistent throughout this World Cup. If you look closely and you look back on his bowling, he's been able to get those breakthroughs multiple times. But what I'm saying is he's not bowling at his best. His line and length is off. He's bowling too flat. Sometimes he's too quick, and we've seen that, except for this particular wicket, Every other wicket that India has played on, pace off has worked really, really well. And on those wickets, Varun Chakravarti did not use that to his advantage when he could have done that. He could have put more reps on the ball and sort of got his line and length right. Those conditions were tailor made for him, but he wasn't able to be the best bowler, best Indian bowler out there. You saw a lot of the other bowlers getting breakthroughs. But again, I wouldn't say that I'm very concerned, but he needs to work on this. I think Mone Mokkal needs to go out and have a chat with Varun Chakravarti. Someone needs to do something about his line and length. And on a side note, what was going on with Shivam Dube? What happened there? I was completely puzzled.
Not only that, I actually think on a serious note, he can't bowl no balls. I'm okay with him getting tonked, but a no ball in the last game and no ball today. You're bowling at 115, 120. You can't bowl two no balls. That's nonsense. That's basic indiscipline. You can't do that. You get tonked a couple of sixes on a good wicket, a couple of fours. I'm okay with that. Don't give loose balls. Don't give free runs to any opposition. I'm totally fine with Surya giving him the ball again. Surya totally did the right thing because he has to get Dube one more over. Can he bowl Dube against the West Indies in Calcutta? This was his chance to try him out, and he did that. Bumrah, somebody is saying Bumrah, why not complete his spell? Arey bhai, there is no need for Bumrah to complete his spell in this particular game. You won that game for God's sake. S21, understand a bit of cricket. Understand a bit of cricket. You don't need just with Bumrah to complete his spell because Bumrah will complete his spell against the West Indies, pick 2 or 3 wickets. It's not necessary tonight. It's necessary to give Dube one more over after that 26-run first over to try and see if he has that metal in him to give you a couple of overs in the quarterfinal or the semi-final, because the West Indies match is the quarterfinal. It is a knockout. 3 matches, quarterfinal, semi-final, final, done. That's your World Cup from now. Last 3 minutes on the show. Vaibhav, I'll give you one, and then I'll go to Gargi for a last couple of questions. Do you think Eden Gardens will? Who's asking? Shin Lena. Do you think Eden Gardens will suit the West Indies because the ground is relatively small? By the way, remember, I was there when West Indies played Scotland. Shimron played well, but it was a relatively sedate start, even against the Scottish bowling, Vaibhav.
I think the problem with West Indies is their bowling. They don't have quality fast bowlers. Medium paces basically. They have Shamar Joseph is there, but again he has got pace. He doesn't have that control in T20 cricket, and at times he looks clueless what to do in this format of the game, because he's a test bowler, but not sure how good he is with the wide ball, especially in this format. So the problem with West Indies is their fast bowling. I think they still have good spinners in Gudakesh Moti and Akil Hussain. Akil Hussain didn't play. I think Roshan Chase is also a decent operator, but the problem is with the fast bowling, and that's where the problem lies. Romario Shepherd in that game, I think it was at Eden only where he took the hat trick and a fifer, and that is one off game. You won't see Romario Shepherd doing the same thing against India. If that happens, that it would be nothing short of a miracle if he is able to do that against India. But yeah, so the problem with West Indies is their over reliance on 3 batters. I would say I won't name Brandon King because Brandon King is the most inconsistent batter of the current West Indies squad. If Darren Sammy has seen his last 10-15 innings, he would quickly replace him with Johnson Charles, because Johnson Charles was the part of Darren Sammy's World Cup winning squad in 2016 as well. So you would back a player like Johnson Charles, who has played enough T20 cricket, who has scored a lot of runs, who is there in the squad. You can replace Brandon King, because Brandon King, to be honest with you, has not done anything substantial to retain his place. So I think he's the weakest link in the batting lineup. And there is over reliance on Shea Hope, there is over reliance on Shivran Hetmyer, and one more name, Sharfan Rutherford. I think that player, he can score in crunch situations. We have seen that again. I think it was in Wankhede where he played a 70-odd run innings. So I think Sharfan Rutherford is another name. These 3 batters West Indies heavily rely on. In fast bowling, they have no gun bowlers. So I don't think it will be a battle. I think it will be more of a one-sided affair against India.
Gargi, last question before I kind of close the show. Now it's a gun shootout in Calcutta. West Indies in 2016 took India out at the Wankhede. Much due. I don't think you watched that match. You were a little kiddo 10 years back. But Ravichandran Ashwin, no ball, Lendl Simmons taking it away. I covered that game. I remember that night. Horrific night for India. but there was too much dew. Calcutta different with sporting wicket, not so much dew. I went outside just to check the dew today, not so much dew at all. India will now start gun favorites against the West Indies. India getting it right in combo. West Indies getting a mauling against South Africa, bowling exposed. So on Sunday, India start overwhelming favorites. Gargi Rao.
I don't know if I would say that they're overwhelming favorites because West Indies has a very good batting lineup, and you see some of the batters are doing really well if they're able to put on a good score. And I know Surya Kumar Yadav has said that toss is what was the word? I'm struggling to find the word, but he basically said that toss does not matter anymore in T20I cricket. Because dew doesn't set in much. At the same time, the conditions are more or less same for the two teams, but that's not going to be the case in Kolkata, which makes me think that the toss will actually will be a massive decisive factor. If India win the toss, obviously you go in and bat first. That's been your strength, and have the same kind of approach that you had today. While I can understand that while I appreciate the Indian batting lineup and the management for figuring things out and getting their intent and approach right in today's game, you also have to remember that this Zimbabwe bowling just wasn't as good quality as a South Africa. So when you come up against a stronger opponent, maybe this is not the strategy that they will take on. Also, this wicket is quite flat. So all of these things considered, only when I see the same approach happening in the next game will I be convinced that this is what the management will stick with.
Let me say this. What I think, I don't think the West Indies bowling is good enough. I think it's pretty poor. Whether it's Ford, whether it's Romario Shepherd, Jason Holder. Yes, the two spinners are decent, Gudakesh Moti, Akil Hussain, but other than that, pretty average bowling attack. On a good Calcutta deck, I don't think the Indian batting will remotely bother about the West Indian bowling. I think India has way much firepower, and on this deck, I don't think West Indies will be much of a problem for India. Yes, you don't take any opponent loose in a World Cup, that too in a knockout game. But I think India has a huge edge. There are two super chats. We will quickly take them. One can go to Gargi. Neil, can you flash the super chats? Varun mystery spin exposed in the World Cup, says Proshanjit. Gargi, you quickly want to answer that? Varun exposed? Gargi, Varun exposed is the super chat.
Can you please repeat that?
Varun mystery exposed in this World Cup is the super chat. Varun Chakravarti mystery exposed.
I don't think it's Varun mystery exposed at all. Otherwise, he wouldn't be getting the wickets that he did. Because I made this point right earlier in the show that he hasn't been at his best, yet he's able to get breakthroughs. Those breakthroughs have come solely off of the fact that Varun Chakravarti cannot be figured out. He is still very much India's trump card when we talk about spin bowling. I am not concerned about Varun Chakravarti. I am, though, hoping that he will come back into rhythm and bowl the kind of deliveries that the pitch is asking for, that the surfaces ask for and demand. He's not been able to do that, but going forward, I do have faith that Varun Chakravarti will come good. He's been one of your best bowlers in the T20I side. So no point in sort of overtly criticizing him. He's not at his best because he's set the standard so high.
Okay, the second super chat quickly. Vaibhav can take that. Why Dubey still had overs from Bumrah and Hardik? Vaibhav quickly.
See, it's an experimentation. When you know that you have already, clinched the game is under your control. It was just about experimenting with your part-time options. That's what Surya did. And I wouldn't have been surprised if he would have given the ball to Tilak Verma as well, because next opposition you are going to play is West Indies. They have plenty of left-handers in their lineup, and Tilak has bowled in this World Cup. So, Tilak could have been tried, and there's no harm in giving, bowling to the part-timers when the game is on the line. When the game is on the line, then you won't see Shivam Dubey bowling. Then you will see Jasprit Bumrah completing his quota of 4 overs, Varun Chakravarti completing his quota of 4 overs, Hardik Pandya completing his quota of 4 overs. So it's about experimentation, nothing too much to dwell upon.
I'll let Gargi Raut go. She's had a long day. Tomorrow morning, Shubhan Chakraborty, Gargi Raut, and Rohit Juglan will fly to Calcutta. We'll put in our entire reporting unit in Calcutta. By the way, India lands 4 p.m., West Indies lands 6 p.m. Our entire reporting team, they land 2 p.m. at the Calcutta airport. We will go massive. We will go absolutely massive with our coverage. That's the plan. Gargi, thank you very much for joining me. Have a safe flight and catch you tomorrow in Calcutta at the Eden Gardens. A team of 12 or 13 reporters will cover this match. We can tell you that. And no rain. Absolutely no rain. It'll be fine. Shujanda has produced a decent wicket. There is no question. There is no question that the game will be played. And my take is India will smash the West Indies. India will win that game in Calcutta, make it to the semi-finals. After this, India has momentum. West Indies knows that there will be questions asked. Except Shimron Hetmeyer, that batting lineup is not good enough. Not every day will Jason Holder and Romario Shepherd bail you out. Vaibhav, thank you very much for joining me. Good result today. South Africa setting it up for India. I just hope that there no more idiotic, stupid adverts happen. Because South Africa was the one that saved your day. Some more idiocy on anybody's part needs to be avoided. No more stupid advertisements. Have some sensitivity and some sensibility. Vaibhav, thank you very much for joining us.